Making pastry dough is simple. Let me show you how. First ingredient, which is very important to be chilled, is butter. I have 2 sticks of butter here, which I have cubed. Make sure they are chilled until you're ready to use them. 1 cup of chilled water as well. And 2 teaspoons of vinegar, 2 eggs, whole eggs, a teaspoon of salt. In the mixer, I have about 4.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Okay, let's start by putting the cube butter in here. Let me help that in there. Flour is mixing. I'm gonna go ahead and add my salt. Okay, now let's turn that off for a while. The butter and the flour are mixed, and let's get a little closer. The texture of the flour now resembles crumbs. Okay, so we are going to start adding. So far I have butter and salt in there mixed. Now we're gonna start adding the rest of the ingredients. We're gonna put our eggs, 2 eggs, and then vinegar. I have here apple cider vinegar, but if you don't have apple cider vinegar, just use regular white vinegar. Put that in there. Now we're gonna put half of this water at first, and then we're going to determine whether we should add more. I'm gonna put half a cup of cold water. And as you can see, it is starting to hold together right there. Let's stop that for a while. We do not want our dough very, very wet, so we try to slow down the addition of liquid, and as you can see, it's holding. So here is the other half of the dough that I made. What I'm doing is rolling this so that I could divide it into little pieces, which I'm going to roll and turn into a disc. Okay, cut that in half again. Depending on how big you want your disc, you could cut it. At this point, I'm going to make 4 pieces out of this and roll it into a little bowl, just like this. Now, dust that with a little bit of flour, and let me show you how I do it. Kind of flatten it up, make it for easier rolling. Don't worry so much about making it into a perfect round disc. If it's irregular like mine is turning out right here, doesn't matter, because if I'm gonna make empanada out of this, I will have to turn it into a half like that, and then work with these edges. So making it perfectly round is not very important to me at this point. Okay, so now after I roll it into a flat disc like this, I kind of put more flour all around it, so that if I don't use this right away, I could store it in the refrigerator, or I could even freeze this. Now I have been making some, and let me show you how I do it. This is ready to be stored in a refrigerator or in a freezer. See, in between of each disc, I have separated them, stacked them up, but separated with a parchment paper. That is to make the separating of your dough a lot easier. Especially this is a non-stick parchment paper.